am Betty Hollister, Public Information Manager with the Regional Flood Control District, and welcome to another edition of the Flood Channel. On today's show, we'll be talking about how we get information out to you. No need to yell, huh? You know, there's an old cliche that one of the techniques we use to communicate with the public is to yell it from the rooftop, which is why we're here high on top of our building. One very important part of the Flood Control District is our public information program designed to educate you about the dangers of flash flooding, the importance of flood insurance, and the progress of drainage improvements. But yelling from the rooftop isn't very practical, so we're going to show you how we effectively communicate our messages. First, we'll introduce Kip, our stormwater mascot, who reminds residents to keep storm drains clean and help protect Lake Mead. Then we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at the making of one of our public service commercials. We've created several that focus on flood safety, flood insurance, and environmental issues. And finally, we'll show you some other ways we keep you informed, like our billboard campaign, surveys, radio and print commercials, school and civic presentations, and of course, the television program you're watching right now, the Flood Channel. All that and our Flood 101 and Pollution Solution segments coming up on this How We Get the Word Out to You edition of the Flood Channel. Welcome back to the Flood Channel. We know that effective communication requires more than just a news release or an ad in the paper. We believe in a proactive approach, like our storm drain marking program that asks for your help protecting our desert home. Carrie Ann and our friend Kip bring us a story.
Hey, Carrie Ann, are you ready to get the word out about the Flood District's storm drain marking campaign?
I sure am, Kip. I'm ready to yell as loud as I can to make sure everyone knows about our program.
Wait, Carrie Ann. You don't have to yell to get the word out. Watch this. The Storm Drain Marking Program reminds you to keep storm drains free of trash to prevent flooding and keep pollutants out of Lake Mead. That's a good-looking mascot, if I do say so myself.
Good morning. We are here today to talk about protecting Lake Mead. Good morning, I'm Nathan Tannenbaum. I'm happy to be your Master of Ceremonies today for the Storm Drain Protection Kickoff Program. Thanks for being here today.
We're out here today at the Mandalay Bay Shark Reef to kick off the Storm Drain Inlet Marking Program. Now, this is a program that was spearheaded by the Conservation District of Southern Nevada. They received a grant from the state of Nevada and came up with this program to mark storm drain inlets to let people know that what goes in those storm drains ends up in Las Vegas Wash and Lake Mead without any treatment.
I think a lot of folks in Southern Nevada are aware of lower water levels out at Lake Mead, and a lot of people keep talking about supplying the future water needs of our growing population. But a lot of people are unaware, or just, we're here to let folks know that it's up to us to keep Lake Mead clean.
I'm proud to be associated with the program that the Conservation District of Southern Nevada has put together for the Storm Drain Inlet Marking Program. They have really taken the lead on getting this done, but we get to be associated with it, and it's a good thing for the Flood Control District and getting the word out about stormwater quality and what everybody in their home can do to protect our source of drinking water. The Regional Flood Control District is a partner with the Conservation District of Southern Nevada. This is a good program for the Flood Control District as part of the Stormwater Quality Management Committee to be involved with, and we really applaud the efforts of the Conservation District for getting this thing out onto the ground.
Good morning. As Nate said, I'm Adrienne Rowland, Director of the Shark Reef Aquarium, and I am very proud to be here today representing not only the aquarium, but Mandalay Bay and MGM Mirage. We were very excited to get involved in this program, and I want to thank Tricia Pettit and the education team for getting us involved in such a unique program. Water, of course, we've heard all the reasons that water is important to us here in Southern Nevada, but for the aquarium we actually have a special significance because it is the home to all of our animals, and our primary source for that is from Lake Mead, from the supply water.
Not only does the program remind residents to keep storm drains clear, this year 4th and 5th grade students were asked to help spread the message. The Conservation District of Southern Nevada held a pollution poster contest to remind kids the importance of protecting the environment. Out of nearly 300 posters, Bradley Nelson from Hal Smith Elementary School was chosen as the winner.
Conservation District, part of their program here for the storm drain inlet was to get the information out to the kids at school. So they did a poster contest, and Bradley Nelson, a fourth grader, put together the winning poster, and it is a really neat thing, and it shows that he really understands what it means to protect our drinking water source and to keep things out of our storm drain inlets.
Bradley is a fourth grader from Hal Smith Elementary School. Hi, Bradley. So I am pleased to announce Bradley is our first place winner. His poster selected, it's right here, selected out of over 300 submissions. And Bradley, I would like to present you with this trophy. Thank you. And for your wonderful poster and for helping us spread the message about stormwater pollution.
Has two drains, one's clean, one's not. They both have a little water coming through. And the one on the right had lots of trash. I put dead fish in there. We used double stick tape.
To stick everything on? You did?
Except one thing fell off and I lost it for like a day.
Oh no.
But my sister found it.
Seeing the poster that Bradley Nelson put together to win this contest really shows me that the kids understand and they can bring this message home. The kids are the future. We need to change our habits, and we're showing that they're going to bring this knowledge up and help protect our environment long into the future.
I don't think people really understand just how fast a thunderstorm situation or rainfall in a very short period of time can impact people in such an adverse way, to the point where it happens so fast that they don't have time to react, and by the time they do react, it's too late. We've all seen the video of people sitting on the top of the cars with the helicopter rescues. Of course, the biggest event was back in August of 2003 when we had so many swiftwater rescues. And people just don't believe that you can have that type of weather phenomena here in the Las Vegas Valley. But the simple fact is based on where these thunderstorms happen, that water can collect and fill up in gutters and streets and cause flooding within a matter of minutes. The ability for us to get that information out to the public is critical. And to be honest with you, it's to the point now where we really don't spend that much time communicating the information so much to the parents as we do to the children in the schools. When we go to the schools and I talk weather, the two things I always talk about are turn around, don't drown, and when thunder roars, go indoors. I drill it into these kids' head, hoping that they will communicate it to their parents. If they're in the car and their parents are getting ready to cross a flooded road, Mom, John Fredericks said, turn around, don't drown. The educational process is absolutely critical. Of course, we do it on television as well. The simple fact is a lot of people my age, that information is lost on. We never heard turn around, don't drown, when thunder roars, go indoors. It never even dawned on us that we could walk across a flooded street and actually get swept away, get knocked on the head, pass out, and drown. And it happens like that.
School visits are a great opportunity to do that because the kids are a little more open-minded about these things, and you can tell them, hey, did you guys know it floods here? And they'll say no, and they'll listen and they'll believe. So they're a little more open to the idea that it actually does flood here when it rains, and they're a little more willing to hear you. I think a good way to explain that to kids is to try and impress upon them how strong running water is, and maybe give them an example like the wave pool out at Mandalay Bay, or if they've ever been to the beach, and try and give them an idea that water's a lot heavier than they are when it starts moving fast, and that it can really do a lot of damage in a short amount of time if they're not aware of it. I think a good example of that is the detention basins, which have been set up. And if there's ever a time when those things actually do flood, like a soccer field, that, I think, is going to drive the point home for people of how serious this problem is, because they only think of it as a soccer field until the day it fills up with water. And then they've got an idea of how serious the situation is here.
Well, Kip, thanks for all that information about our storm drain marking program. Over the next year, 8,000 plaques communicating the message, don't pollute, drains to Lake Mead will be installed around the valley. That's just one more example of how the flood district is getting the word out. See you around, Kip.
You bet, Carrie Ann. Don't forget to report clogged storm drains to the flood district at 685-0000. See you later, Carrie Ann, and back to you, Betty.
Thanks, Carrie Ann and Kip. When we come back, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at the making of one of our newest public service announcements. Stay right there.
We have all seen the devastation that floods can cause to homes and lives in Clark County. Has your neighborhood or home ever been affected by major storms? Federal flood insurance is a smart and cost-effective investment if you think your home is vulnerable. Some easy-to-understand assessments can help determine if you need flood insurance. Call your insurance agent or call 1-888-CALL-FLOOD or visit the Regional Flood Control District's website for guidance. See if flood insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, I'm Kip from the Storm Drain Marking Program. You're watching the Flood Channel.
Don't press your luck. Steer clear of floodwater.
How do you teach kids about floods?
The district's student outreach program works to teach kids about the dangers of flash flooding. In the last school year alone, we taught more than 7,000 kids about flood safety and how to protect the environment. If you're interested in a flood safety presentation in your school, give me a call at 685-0000.
Welcome back to the Flood Channel. In this fast-paced world we live in, with TiVo and DVR right at our fingertips, many of us like to fast forward through those commercials to our favorite shows, like American Idol, CSI, and of course, the Flood Channel. But sometimes the messages in those commercials can give us really important information. Let's take a look at one of our public service announcements that educate you about significant issues we face.
Yeah. You wear a tie at all?
No, you know what, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Great.
perfect.
Good colors, very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's in there.
Okay, so we got the angle here.
We could do on this final one, like if you want to come over here, right? This would be a good angle to get the bill.
This would be good
so
for
we
the
can
bell.
see. Right.
Yeah, a little
so we
over
can
the
kind of see
shoulder.
exactly, because she's handing it to him.
Right.
Here.
We produce several public service announcements that focus on flood insurance, flood safety, and protecting the environment. It's important that we take that proactive approach to get the word out about those major topics. And some of our public service announcements are very serious. Others take a little bit more of a lighthearted approach and then bring in that message at the end.
Yeah,
Just let them run it through.
We'll just do one, we'll go with like 3 different angles.
Okay.
And we'll see, we'll cut it the way it looks like.
Yeah, because I mean they're hitting. There's really no point stopping if they're nailing.
There.
Go.
You did what? What the heck? I mean, what?
Yes.
Should I just I vote?
Perfect. Good. Very good.
You know, one of the interesting things about PSAs is if there's something in particular that's going to happen or is happening, people want information. And PSAs can speak right to that. They can be very effective. And today, in this day and age, as technology is improving, there's ways to get PSAs out quicker and to more people.
You did what? What do you think we're made of money? I mean, what the heck? Should I just go out and buy a boat and not tell you? Maybe an SUV to pull it around? Like, what do you think here?
That was good, but we ran about 35 seconds. We need to drop it down to about 20, so we got to condense it. So that was perfect on the reaction, perfect on everything. Let's go a little bit faster. Like when we do action, just go ahead and jump right into it, and let the conversation.
You know, I'm hopeful that that the continuing relationship with the media will help in our being able to deliver PSAs. Besides just trying to count on 1 or 2 sources.
Why don't you guys slow your initial conversation down a little bit, and then that'll slow down maybe an extra 2-3 seconds, and then you can even go a little bit more. Give him an extra second before you hand over the paper.
When we see that there is information that isn't getting out, that there's confusion, for instance, like flood insurance, we learned that there's a lot of confusion regarding that topic on whether they can buy flood insurance or not. So we took the proactive approach and produced several public service announcements that really push home that message that anyone can buy flood insurance and it's not very expensive.
Here we go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
That was good, nothing special. How about you?
Good. Productive.
Good.
bought us flood insurance today.
You did what? What do you think we're made of money? I mean, what the heck, should I go and buy a boat and then maybe an SUV to pull it? I'll pick some money off the money tree, right? Oh, okay.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the big picture of our public information program and some other ways we get the word out to you.
Hi, hon. How was your day?
I was good. Nothing special. How about you?
Good. Productive.
Good.
Oh, I bought us flood insurance today.
You did what? What do you think we're made of money? I mean, what the heck? Should I just go out and buy a boat and maybe an SUV to pull it around? Oh, okay.
In Clark County, floods can strike at any time, and not just in flood zones. Flooding can cost thousands of dollars in damage, destroying your home and its contents. Do you have flood insurance?
Is it okay to dump lawn trimmings in the desert?
Besides being unsightly, dumping lawn trimmings in Clark County washes is illegal. Like our public service announcement says, don't trash Clark County. Clark County waterways are part of our backyard. You wouldn't be able to dump your lawn trimmings in your neighbor's backyard and expect to be his friend for long. Lawn trimmings dumped in Clark County washes can clog our waterways and cause flooding. Not only that, when they decay, they take dissolved oxygen out of the water, and that effectively suffocates our aquatic wildlife. So don't dump your lawn trimmings in Clark County waterways.
Don't press your luck. Steer clear of floodwater.
Hi, I'm Nathan Tannenbaum, and you're watching the Flood Channel.
Seriously, the ref botched that call. He ruined the game.
I know, baby.
Babe, it's my bonus check. You know what this means.
I do know what this means. Oh my God, new wardrobe.
Oh, come on, you know. We can buy flood insurance. Yes!
In Clark County, floods can strike at any time, and not just in flood zones. Flooding can cost thousands of dollars in damage, destroying your home and its contents. Do you have flood insurance?
Welcome back to the Flood Channel. So far in today's program, we've shown you a couple of ways we get information out to you, but we've really only scratched the surface. Carrie Ann brings us the big picture of the district's public information program.
Like Betty said, so far we've given you snapshots about how we get the word out about flood-related issues. So now let's put it all together for the big picture about what's happening at the flood district.
It's so important for us to keep in front of the residents, and that's why we produce a TV show, that's why we do PSAs. It's the visuals on the flooding that happens to get that flood safety message out.
The news media is another important tool in our toolbox for communicating flood safety. They are just vital when there's a storm, reminding people not to drive through flood water. I mean, they're on the spot, and they are a very important part of our program.
I don't think a lot of people realize that without the media, the public, for the most part, is going to stay grossly uninformed. If the National Weather Service issues a flash flood warning, unless we pass it along to the public, the chances of the public knowing about that are probably less than 10%. So the media is still very, very critical in the relationship in terms of flash flooding and public awareness.
You have people that move here in a desert, and they may not know the particulars of a desert, and when it rains, it floods. So one way that people need to find out is to let them know, and Flood Control District ought to be responsible to let people know what a desert does and what a desert doesn't do. So it's very important from that point of view.
In my area, we've had dramatic growth over the last 10 years, just like the Las Vegas Valley, and people are coming from outside areas, from parts of the country where when it's normal that it rains a lot, and the rain just runs off and runs into rivers, streams, and lakes, and so on and so forth. Well, it pools here. It doesn't rain very much, and so we'll get the entire year's rainfall over the course of say 2 days. It runs into low-lying areas, and it runs fast.
I think this is it's probably one of the more important aspects of my job, because in that case I am somebody who's relaying information that in a worst case scenario is going to save somebody's life. If they've got a heads up beforehand that there's a dangerous situation coming with all this rainfall and it does flood in this valley, they need to know. First of all, there's a lot of responsibility to make sure you get that message out clearly. Second of all, you've got to do it in a way that they're going to believe you, because it's the desert and a lot of people don't think this can really happen. So you've got to be able to tell them this very important information in a way that they're going to believe and trust. So I think there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that, and it's got to be done the right way at the right time when we've got these rain events. We don't get many of them, so it's an opportunity that you really have to grasp when it comes along to drive this point home. It doesn't happen often, but on the days when it does happen, this is a very serious and potentially deadly situation, and you got to hear me on this.
In addition to television, radio, and print, the district has several ongoing programs, like our license plate billboard contest, the student outreach program, and our annual flood safety news conference that help keep the community informed.
Every year we do a media program, and we do flyers, and we do advertisements in the media, paper advertisements, and we do radio announcements, and we do television and billboards. We try to come up with every facet that people might find out about what the flood control is and importance of flash flooding and so on and so forth. And we found what has a good response and what doesn't. And so the course of the flood control district is to continue in that fashion and to use all those media outlets and then monitor to see which ones are the most effective.
Well, I mean, obviously, you would hope that the effectiveness of previous campaigns, people see the message and understand it and comprehend it, and that they apply it in the right time when when it's time for them to make a decision.
Over my years with the Flood Control District, and through our public information program, talking to second and third graders and going back and talking to fourth and fifth graders, that message is sinking in. And I think if we're going to change human behavior, you have to start with the young ones first and keep giving them that message as they continue to grow up.
If you go through a life and say you're an adult and you come from an area that doesn't have flash flooding or doesn't have a desert environment like we do here, and you may not know, and then you're going to raise your children the same way because it's something you won't know. But if you have children who are very teachable, most children are very teachable and very curious and they want to learn, and if you design programs where it seems interesting, then that's a good place to start teaching behaviors. And then when they see rain and thunderheads coming and lots of water coming, their first instinct won't be to go run and jump in there and play. That's the logical side. What comes from that is a generation then of people who understand what flash flooding is and the importance of staying away from those areas, but also they'll teach their children. The flood control takes it very seriously about informing old and new residents of Las Vegas the importance of what flood control is and what they can do to take part of that.
Several other essential components help make out the district's communication program. Our annual report, hidden danger brochures, and flood awareness survey help get crucial information out to the residents of the valley. And don't forget about the employees at the district. They're there to answer all your questions and concerns.
Getting our message out to the public takes many shapes and forms. It can be a public service announcement, it can be the partners with the media, or it can be written material or billboards. The billboards and written material give us that opportunity to put it in different languages to hit as many residents of Clark County as possible.
The message of flood safety is important for everyone to hear, young and old, newcomer, longtime resident. So our public information program uses a multi-pronged approach to get that message out. We speak to school kids, we have our civic presentations, we lecture at UNLV, we have our annual report and surveys, as well as brochures and direct mail pieces. Those are the print media ways that we reach people. And then we also have the electronic ways through TV and radio.
I really see the work that the district has done over the last 10 years to inform people as pretty effective. Most people understand and they know, stay away from washes in low-lying areas when it's raining hard. But there in Mesquite, there are a lot of old timers. There's people that have been around and they've seen washes overflow during rainstorms. They've seen the river overflow. They've seen flooding. We had flooding back in 2005 down in our valley, as well as in the Moapa Valley area. And so we talk about new residents, but a lot of times it's older folks too, the people that have been around a long time, that are born and raised here. A lot of us sometimes just don't understand, don't realize some of the dangers and how quickly, how fast flood levels can raise. And even if the rain's not falling hard right on top of you, if you're around a wash and it's raining, 3 or 4 miles up the wash, 2 or 3 miles up the wash, you can see flash floods. I've seen it happen. And
if you've lived anywhere and you've ever been in a tragic situation, it really impacts how you feel. I grew up here in Las Vegas before we had flood control. The flood control were the natural drainage channels, and wherever they went, they went. And we had one pointed at our house, and so we got flooded a lot. And it's a very scary, unnerving thing to see, and you have absolutely no control over it. So when you say that you have this huge capital improvement program, flood safety program, educational program that's designed to protect every resident in the valley, you feel pretty good about it. But what makes you feel better is when you have in a facility and it's actually protected, a subdivision or a part of the community, and it's actually worked. Our systems work really, really well. The bad part about this is we can't have our systems in 100% today, and we've been building on that. So some people are still susceptible to flooding, but I'll tell you, it feels good when you're there and you see a detention basin full of water, because you know that's exactly what it's supposed to do, and you know all that water isn't flooding down the streets and washing through people's homes, and it does give you a satisfaction.
I don't think it'll ever be done. I don't think they'll ever reach a point where they go, oh, we've got the word out, everybody knows, and we don't need to spend any more money on advertising or media campaigns or anything. I think there's always going to be the need to get the word out and let people know and help them understand how they can avoid those situations. The flood control is going to have its work cut out for it. We're not done with growth by any means in Southern Nevada. It's got its work cut out for it over the next, I think the next at least 2 or 3 decades to really proactively get out there and help and assist people in understanding the issues. So.
Well, Betty, I think that completes the picture of how the district gets the word out about flood safety.
Thanks, Carrie Ann. And that's going to do it for this special How We Get the Word Out to You edition of the Flood Channel. And we want to hear from you with your questions and comments. Log on to our website at regionalflood.org. For all of us here at the Flood Channel, I'm Betty Hollister, and as we enter flash flood season, remember to always be flood safe.